Colby Covington
might
have the most outrageous output in the sport.
Yeah.
It's outrageous. He's done an amazing job of getting people to dismiss him because they think he's a piece of shit. with his MAGA hat and all the trash talk that he does, it's fucking brilliant, man. Because what he's done is just insult everybody and anybody, get a lot of people talking about him, and then fuck people up. So it's like, whoa, this is a crazy combination because it fucks with their head. They don't want to lose to this guy. They don't want to hear him talk shit. After he beats your ass, he's going to still talk shit? Fuck. There's a slight, I don't know, depending upon the person, but at least slight burden in experiencing that from a person. It might be a big burden. Maybe you're one of those people that has a hard time getting fucked with, and you can't. It keeps you up at night, and then it's like maybe it diminishes your performance 20%, maybe 30%.
Yeah.
And Colby doesn't get tired. He keeps coming. It's terrifying. Robbie Lawler just kept bobbing and weaving and hoping for these openings that were never there. And then Colby's just on you. He was punching some ridiculous amount, like 1 every 2.4 seconds or some crazy shit. He broke the work rate, right?
Yeah. Yeah, something like that.
Colby never goes 100%. If you watch him, he's punching like 70%, 60%, 70%, 60%. And he just stays on you. Very Nick Diaz-like in Diaz's early days. Like when Diaz fought Frank Shamrock, perfect example. Like he just puts that pace on you, keeps talking shit and puts that pace on you, and he's hitting you a lot, so you're always tight, like you're always tightening up, and it's just draining your battery. And you don't want to lose to this guy because he's talked so much shit. And you're like, well, he's talked so much shit, but when I get a hold of him, guess what, when you get a hold of him, he's great. That's the problem. The problem is all those things that fuck with you, plus he's a great fighter. So the meanness, the shit talking, all the MAGA stuff, the strippers, the cringe, you're like, oh my God, right? And then on top of it, the fucking output inside the octagon, you're like, shit, he's doing all that and he's fucking me up. He might have fucked me up even if he didn't do all that. But he does all that and I don't want to lose to him and he's fucking me up. It's like, God damn.
Do you think there's a point where Colby thinks, at any point during his training camp, like, shit, I've stacked the odds against myself here. I had that moment before Marcus Davis where I thought to myself, if I lose here, I'm gonna look really fucking stupid.
I think that Colby is doing a brilliant job of playing a bad guy like pro wrestling style, and I think he didn't used to do that early in his career. He was a hard-working guy who just went out there and fought his ass off, but people didn't give a shit, and they weren't giving him the credit that he deserves, and so he turned heel. And from that, he's become the interim welterweight champion. He's one of the most talked about guys in the sport. He took on a character. That's what I think. And I think that character is super successful at fucking with people. And he can fucking fight, man.
Yeah, he can.
You can't underestimate that kind of cardio. That kind of cardio is crazy. To be able to do that for 5 rounds, that's bananas. That pace is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, when someone has a wrestling advantage, it goes back to this one more time. When someone has a wrestling advantage, that is a big deal when you start getting tired and this guy has better technique than you and he's not as tired as you are because he's fighting more efficiently, and then he gets a hold of you and they're like, fuck, I'm on my back. And then you're like, God damn it. And then you try to get back up, but you can't. And the bell's over and you get back up and you go, all right, got to keep this guy from taking me down. Then boom, he takes you down again. He keeps punching you on the feet. He keeps hitting you and making you move backwards. And you're just looking to land this big bomb, but there's never an opening for it. And you think he's going to slow down, but he never does. I mean, who the fuck causes more drama than Colby?
I know, yeah.
Still,
good
though,
stuff. That's
how he's so popular. It's both things, right?
Yeah.
Which is rare. Like, he has incredible skill level. He's as tough as they come. And he talks a lot of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
And most people don't know that he got forced into talking shit. Like the UFC was about to cut him. They didn't like his style. They told him. Yeah. And so then he fought Damian Maia in Brazil and then called him a bunch of filthy animals and, and said a bunch of crazy shit.
Places a dump.
Yeah. They went crazy.
They took exception to that.
He went pro wrestling heel.
Yeah.
And it changed
It worked.
It changed the trajectory of his career. What people don't know about Colby, what you know about Colby is when you're with him in person, super nice guy.
Oh, he's actually soft-spoken.
He's a great guy.
But he's had dinner at the house. We had elk and just polite, soft-spoken.
Yeah.
My wife and daughter, everybody's there, just being as nice as can be.
He's a gentleman.
That's who he is.
That's the real guy.
Yeah, for sure.
This other thing is like a character that he does, which is so fascinating.
It works. I mean, I watched an interview him and DC did just a couple days ago, and I mean, DC gave him every opportunity. He's like, "Do you ever get tired? Do you ever sit at home and say, I would, could give it a rest and just be?" And he's just like, "No." He's like, "I'm always." He's something like he's always on. And then he's like, DC said, "Do you respect Usman? I'm like as a fighter." He's like, "No." So he wouldn't even. I mean, he's sticking to the script.
Yeah, well, he's got that pro wrestling heel character down. And if he ever decides to leave the UFC and go to pro wrestling, he would have a giant career in pro wrestling.
Yeah.
If he wanted to.
Probably.
Oh my God. If he decided, if he fight, let's say, whatever happens with his career, but like 5 years from now, if he decides to go to pro wrestling, my God, will that guy have a fucking career over there?
Yeah.
He's talked so much shit.
Oh, I know. It's good. I can't wait.
Yeah. It's going to be an amazing fight because people want to pretend Colby can't fight. It's a real problem. He's a real problem because that style of shit talking is infuriating.
Yeah.
And you can't say a goddamn thing to him because he's in a character.
Oh, yeah.
So if he pisses you off, you say something back to him, yeah, why don't you go suck Trump's dick? You'd be like, I would. Mr. Trump's a good man. I bet his dick tastes like lollipops. He can say whatever he wants.
Colby gets it, man.
Listen.
He gets it. He's full old school Ric Flair with a new style twist, and he's a real fighter, man.
He's a real fighter. He's absolutely one of the best welterweights in the world, and this is a very, very close fight.
Colby's my favorite thing to watch right now. I think I think he really gets so many aspects of the basic part of this sport,
Look at
right?
his suits.
Endurance, learn, train, and be entertaining.
Dude, have you seen his new suit?
No.
He's got an orange one now.
Oh.
And he brings that Donald Trump Jr. book everywhere he goes.
I love it.
He's got an orange suit, just as gross as the blue one. It is goddamn hilarious. There's photos of him at the press conference with the orange suit. Bro, he is. Look at that. Look at his orange suit.
Yes.
It looks like it costs less than the blue suit. I didn't think that was possible. He's a fucking genius. Listen, man, this guy, let me mark my words. When this guy is done fighting, he will be a huge pro wrestling star.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking huge. And he might do it quick. The Colby thing is interesting, and I don't know how much Colby wants people talking about this, but I'm gonna spill it as much as I can.
Ooh.
That's an act, man.
I
That's
know.
a strong act that he
100%.
put on when they were ready to cut him. They were ready to cut. You talk to that guy in real life, he's
Yeah.
very respectful.
Jeff's been around him. Jeff's been and said he's the nicest guy.
He's a
this and
nice
that.
guy,
Yeah.
man. He's playing a pro wrestling heel,
Hey, man.
and he's got the whole world
It sells.
worked up.
It sells.
It
That's the
sells.
thing.
And here's the thing, though. This is where it's interesting. It tricks people. Because he seems like a goof. He wears
Yeah.
this stupid fucking cheap blue suit. He wears that MAGA hat.
Does that smile.
He's got the old belt.
Yeah.
You know it's not a legit belt, right?
Yeah.
But he did win the interim title, and they took
Yeah.
it from him for no reason. It doesn't make any sense. So there's this thing about him where people somehow or another think like maybe he's illegitimate. Maybe he's not real. He tricks you into thinking he sucks. He's wearing a cheap suit. He's carrying around Donald Trump Jr.'s book. He's wearing a MAGA hat. His suit
He's on the
costs
same
$3.
page. He's on the same page.
He's not reading. He's not reading that fucking book. I mean, I give it up to that guy for a lot of reasons. First of all, his back was against the wall. The UFC was telling him they're going to cut him after this fight with Damian Maia. They don't like his style. They think he's boring. They literally told that to him.
Yeah.
So he goes in the ring after the fight, calls Brazilians a bunch of filthy animals, says a bunch of crazy shit, and the next thing you know, he's got this fucking character. Oh yeah, for Joe Rogan, we were making fun of his suit. And next thing you know, he's one of the most popular guys in the fucking sport. From talking shit. He's got an amazing style. That style of wrestling and striking, and as a person who's fascinated by tactics, right?
Yep.
Like his tactics are incredible because he's got great discipline to never bites down his mouthpiece and throws as hard as he can. Never. Everything is like a calculated. The output is all the same. It's just constant. Bang, 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 kick, bang, 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 punch, bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, he doesn't
knee.
really fire power
Right.
shots. Like
No.
he's like, oh no, this is a marathon.
Yeah,
like I'm gonna
exactly.
wear your
Everything
ass out.
It's just it's all the same pace. He's just constantly hitting you, constantly moving forward, constant volume. He's a phenomenal fighter.